BFree CBD.com joins forces with Championship Wrestling to bring you the all-new Championship Wrestling podcast. And here's your host, Dustin Starr, featuring special guest,
BFree CBD,
founder of BFree CBD, Daryl Bird. Here we go!
Body aches gone, leg pain gone, back pain gone, relaxation.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 33 of the Championship Wrestling Podcast, presented by BFree CBD. Happy Monday once again, and thank you so much for joining me wherever you are listening. I am Dustin Starr, coming to you from Memphis, Tennessee. We have big news to talk about on today's podcast, and not only does Championship Wrestling return to live action, but there's also a brand new live weekly show coming to the United Wrestling Network and the NWA, and plus our next live event in Memphis has been announced. Gosh, there's so much to get to in this episode, but joining us to give us all the insight and answers to your questions is none other than my partner, David Marquez, the founder of United Wrestling Network, and you know him from the NWA. He's going to join me to give us the scoop, but more on him in just a few minutes. But first, this podcast is presented by BFreeCBD.com.
Hello, my friends. This is Daryl from BFree CBD Wellness Center, located at 777 West Poplar Avenue in the smooth town of Collierville, Tennessee, nestled into the corner right here at the Bahia Crossing Shopping Center at Poplar and Bahia Road. I want to talk to you quickly about CBD and some of the benefits of CBD so that we can understand exactly what the plant does. And I'm all about the plant, the growth of the plant, and the medicinal benefits of the plant. So some of the things that you'll find is, I'd say it's a functional medication for daytime use. I know from research that it stops and reverses cell damage. It relieves menstrual cramps, relieves aches and pains. It can reduce inflammation in your body. When you reduce inflammation, of course, that's going to help you with aches and pains and blood flow, which is a big benefit. Increase memory, relieve stress, ease anxiety, and also it's an antioxidant. And those are just some of the benefits of CBD I want to run by you. So check out our website at www.b, just the letter B, the word freecbd.com, and you'll find all the information you want to know. And anyone in the tri-state area, Tennessee, Mississippi, Arkansas, come into the BFree CBD Wellness Center, check out our relaxation bar, and take a picture in front of our famous blue wall. Talk to you later. Peace.
Thanks, Daryl, and a big happy anniversary to you and Miss Charlotte. Be sure to follow at BFreeCBD on social media. While you're there, go ahead and follow at CW30 Wrestling. Of course, I'm at Dustin Starr, and today's lineup includes a big look at what's coming up this week and where you can find Championship Wrestling in the news and in the media. I've done some extra interviews that you will want to listen to. Lots of great details about our upcoming events. Plus, we're going to recap Saturday's star-studded Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle. And yes, star-studded, pun intended. Check this out. Featuring Scorpio Sky, Willie Mack, Candice LeRae, Bayley from the WWE before she was Bayley, X-Pac, Daniel Bryan, and so much more. Plus, the mailbag is packed full of great questions that I'm going to answer as usual. But first, my business partner and founder of the United Wrestling Network, he's going to join us to talk about one of the biggest announcements of the year. David Marquez will be here from the United Wrestling Network. They're tag teaming with the NWA to bring us United Wrestling Primetime Live. I'll get the scoop and as many details as possible. You sent in your questions. I'm going to get the answers. Who's going to be featured? When does it start? How much does it cost? Also, more on what to expect and when to expect all the new footage and matches being filmed next weekend for Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle. I don't want to waste any time. Guys, David Marquez is up next.
The all-new Championship Wrestling podcast is presented by BFree CBD.
Not just WWE, we also have Jessica Havoc from Impact Wrestling. We have Evil Uno from AEW. We had Colt Cabana come through a couple of times. We're getting noticed by the wrestlers, and it's been an absolute treat, especially for the fans, and that's what we do it for.
BFreeCBD.com joins forces with Championship Wrestling to help you be and feel your best.
First of all, how are you?
I'm great, thanks. Everybody in Los Angeles is fantastic, and all the United Wrestling Network is doing well. I hope you guys are doing well. Hope the baby's doing well. I'm looking forward to all of us getting ready to do this all over again.
Well, there are two big news items, and of course, you're welcome on the podcast anytime, but especially when there's huge news, and you mentioned the United Wrestling Network. So first and foremost, I've got to ask you about the return to live action for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood and the Championship Wrestling programs that we have. We're returning in August is when the tapings happen. Tell us what to expect.
That's right. We're actually shooting this coming up weekend. And, a lot of your favorites will be there from Championship Wrestling. But there's going to be some new faces, too. So a whole new concept. This is the first time we're doing it without an audience. But we've had some rehearsal time for this. We've done some production for New Japan Pro Wrestling in the Ocean View Pavilion. So you may have seen NJPW Strong. That is produced by the Championship Wrestling production team. So we worked out angles. We worked out how to look on camera. We worked out how it can sound without people in there. And we're pretty satisfied with it. On top of the COVID restrictions and everything else we have to deal with, I think we're going to come back with some really good programming.
I'll tell you what, I saw some of the action from that New Japan taping, and it looked fantastic. So if it looks anything like that, I think all the fans, they're chomping at the bit, and they're going to be really excited about it. What other kind of changes are there? I know that some of the talent will probably be different, some of the storylines and such. Is it going to be that much different?
I don't think it's going to be that much different. We had some management shifts and some producer changes and some writing changes, people booking and whatnot. New people comes new ideas. But for the most part, I'd say 80% of the show is the names and faces that you'll all recognize. The NWA, of course, will still be included in the broadcast every now and again. But there'll be some new faces that I don't want to spoil. You're going to have to watch the show to see. New stables, new faces, and a big emphasis on female wrestling. So we're gonna feature women's wrestling a little bit more. I think we've done a good job so far, but we're gonna just add just a tad more.
I agree 100%. Women's wrestling is absolutely on fire on our YouTube channel at CW30 Wrestling. It's some of the highest viewed stuff that we have. When can we see the brand new Championship Wrestling? What is the air dates? Do we know?
Well, yeah, I think we do. In theory, if everything goes well, we'll have, much like a world title match, we have standby matches, but we do have some evergreen programming in place just in case we don't have the episodes 100% ready to air. But our goal is to have it mid-September. So either the second or third weekend in September, the new episode should air. Going into this weekend, as we're still planning everything, we'll be either shooting 4 or 8 episodes, depending if we're there 1 or 2 days. And that all really depends on the fire department, the police department, and all of that stuff. And prior to that, going in this Friday, we're going to be doing NJPW Strong again in the theater. So I'm hoping that's why we pushed it a week after that, so that the authorities can see exactly what we do, how we do it. Even though they've been there before, it's just, it's always city stuff. And they always come back, fire marshals will move this, do that, do whatever. And we just want to comply with everyone. Just the testing alone is overwhelming for guys who are used to just, piling in a room and putting a ring up and setting cameras up. But like, microphones have to be sanitized, ring posts have to be sanitized, we have to wipe that canvas down after every match. So our production day is more than tripling the time we're going to be in the studio, but it's all for the right reasons. And and I really want to figure out how to do this stuff when we are allowed to have people in there again, because we're going to have to follow these same protocols with a crowd. So that's going to be very interesting.
I'm really glad you mentioned those details, because there are so many wrestling organizations, especially all around the Mid-South here, they're running without face masks or without testing. And so I say it each and every week right here on this podcast, that anything that you see coming from Championship Wrestling product, myself and David Marquez, will be exactly the way the CDC wants it, because
exactly,
first and foremost, or else we'll get shut down.
100%. Like here, we're dealing with, we don't have an athletic commission, but we're considered a television production in California. So we're dealing with the film commission. We're dealing with Sacramento in a different way. And us actually being in Los Angeles and Hollywood, they're really looking at us. Like right now, you might or might not be able to hear it in the background. A Target commercial, the construction for sets, is right behind me on this side on the stage, and then over here, I believe there's an AT&T commercial being shot, and we're jammed in the middle of it where this ring is. And just walking in, I was walking through catering and their coffee bar and whatnot, and they're all just running into each other, just like a real working movie studio. So it's really cool. So like when we're here doing our other program, we're going to talk about. It's you never know who you're going to bump into. Like in the hallways, they did Ariana Grande videos here. It's a real working television and film production company. So our guys, who knows who we can pull in one day to make that special appearance.
And you said it just a second ago. There's something we're going to talk about. And I know this, I hate to say it's even bigger news than the return of Championship Wrestling to live production, but it is. So
yeah,
you made a bombshell announcement with the United Wrestling Network earlier in the week or last week. Tell us about it right here, right now.
Well, we were already talking to Thunder Studios about doing something. First and foremost, and just so you guys understand, I've had a multi-year relationship with this facility. When people may see me out and doing non-wrestling productions, whether it's a concert or a show, a basketball game, a football game, whatever, MMA, boxing, the production facility, the trucks that I'm in, they're Thunder trucks and satellite trucks and all that stuff. So I know they had this facility. We'd been talking for a while. So we had that going, and we were going to do something here regardless, because this is the small stage. The other ones are gigantic. They're like for movies.
You're like the only guy I know that makes my schedule look like nothing.
And then, after the pandemic became a real thing, and, our relationship with the NWA, we couldn't return to Georgia. We couldn't go back to do NWA Powerrr. So I just felt that something could be done together in presenting a show where we all get something out of it. So whether it's taped or whatever, and then just little by little talking here and there, I felt, well, why tape a show when we have the facility and we have the distribution and we have the relationships? Why not just do it live? And so the NWA, Thunder Studios, and the United Wrestling Network, early on last week, we announced that we're creating a brand new show called United Wrestling Network Live. So it's really cool. I'm Primetime Live. I'm really cool with everybody involved, all that we're doing, and that show. The biggest reason I wanted it to be live is the WWE is live and AEW is live.
Right.
We are the only other live pro wrestling show that'll be available on television. And that was so important to me.
You see the grin on my face from ear to ear right now, because we talked about this a little bit back, but it's official now. So United Wrestling Network Primetime Live. When's the debut? What time is it going to be? Who's going to be involved? Give us the scoop.
Well, I'll give you as much as I can give you. That announcement blew up crazy. Like, I've seen my name out there with some stuff, but when Dave Meltzer calls you personally,
yeah,
that was something. I mean, I've talked to Dave a few times, but it's never been like, hey, Marquez, so what is this?
Right.
So it's going to premiere 9 p.m. Eastern Time live across cable and satellite traditional pay-per-view. So if you ever watch WrestleMania or whatever on television, like your viewing parties that you have at Dave & Buster's, that's what this is, the same service. So there will be a cost. I don't know the cost yet, but it'll premiere Tuesday, September 15th at 9 p.m. Eastern, which is kind of cool because in California, that means we get to shoot it at 6 o'clock and I might be in bed by 9. So I'll be a real happy guy every Tuesday.
You know me, I wouldn't even be able to sleep for days after doing that.
For sure. I want nothing but sleep. I'm going to get here early. We're going to do the show. I'm going to jump on the freeway and be in bed. It's so exciting because I never have that opportunity.
Sure. So Tuesday, September 15th, that's 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time here. And I like the way you think about those Dave & Buster's parties, too. Who are we going to see? From what I read, we're going to have champions from all over the place. That's
right. So the United champions for sure are on the program. That's guaranteed. It's on the marquee. And but also the NWA champions will be here too. So at the moment, Eli Drake, Nick Aldis, Thunder Rosa, Aaron Stevens, they will be a part of the program for sure. And then some other talent from Powerrr as well throughout the series. I'm trying to, it's interesting. So the format of the show is kind of like, this is an old word to use, but kind of like a cavalcade or a review, like an old concert, like if you went to a country music concert or a Motown R&B review and you see all the biggest R&B stars on the stage together. That's kind of what this is. This is an all-star review show with anyone who's available. Hopefully, we'll be able to get him on the program. So if Zack Ryder is available and we come to terms, I guarantee you he'll be on the program. He might be challenging for the NWA World title. He might be challenging for the Heritage title. They might be challenging for the Arizona State title. Those are the type of matches and the matchmaking I really want to give the people. It's a little different. Just like on Twitter, if we're going to talk about that next, your name came up to go up against Nick Aldis.
Hey now, I checked my schedule. It looks like I'm pretty free. Oh man, so you mentioned NWA Powerrr. So NWA Powerrr, will it remain in production? And this is just an added show that's going to be live every Tuesday. The NWA diehards and United Wrestling Network diehards, they want to make sure that their favorites are going to be there, and it's not going to take away from any of the other products. So if I'm hearing you right, this is a standalone deal, and everything else will remain kind of like it is, or get back into production like normal.
Yeah, 100%. So like I was saying, Georgia, we can't go back into Georgia. It's not necessarily safe to do that. Also, the Powerrr program, the audience and the fans, they're a big part of that show. Yeah. So I don't think any of us want to taint the popularity and the magic that is NWA Powerrr, because it truly is magic. So no. So the live program is a brand new program, additional to Hollywood, additional to Arizona, additional to Powerrr. It's a supplement program. We'll also be shooting additional footage, exclusive footage for the internet for the NWA. So they do have a Patreon site. They have a YouTube site where, we're going to grab those people there, show them what's going on. And then hopefully on Tuesdays at 9 o'clock, they'll come and join us.
Very, very cool. Is there anything else that you have on your plate that you need to tell us about? Because I don't know how you're doing.
This tooth has to come out.
I might be able to help you there.
No, there's lots of stuff going on, man. If this pay-per-view stuff works, the Red Carpet Rumble will be what it was intended to be, a pay-per-view special. Nice. Milestone will be a pay-per-view special. Crockett Cup can be a pay-per-view special. An NWA clash of some sort of a special event will totally be able to be presented probably on a Tuesday in lieu of the live program. We can put a special type event in there. So I'm looking way forward to it. And the crazy part, I guess it's not too crazy because I always kind of never put myself over like this. I've had so many phone calls, not from talent, from promoters, nice, understanding the opportunity of the airwaves to get them their talent, their people on the show, and you'd be really surprised of who has called me.
Very, very cool.
I was even surprised.
Hopefully in the coming weeks, as this thing gets closer and closer, we can have you drop in and give us some updates as things happen, because we all know things can change in 24 hours so fast with different announcements and things that are going on. So I appreciate you for coming on to give us the scoop.
You got it.
Thanks, boss.
The Championship Wrestling Rewind is brought to you by BFree CBD.
Rewinding back to last week, I have some sad and unfortunate news. We lost another Memphis wrestling legend. Not only a legend of Memphis wrestling, but a legendary wrestling figure, one of the greatest characters of all time, known worldwide. Unfortunately, we lost our buddy James Kamala Harris. And so it was a very, very sad time. We lost Kamala, the Ugandan giant. I talked about it on Grind City Wrestling just last week. A young Dustin Starr sitting in a locker room watching Kamala paint up his face and belly. And I just sat there and watched in awe. I mean, Kamala was known worldwide for body slamming Andre the Giant back in 1983, before Hulk Hogan even thought about doing it. Of course, the Kamala character was the brainchild of Jerry Jarrett and Jerry Lawler right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Apparently, Jerry Jarrett was watching the Discovery Channel and saw some stuff that he thought he wanted to put into a wrestling character, and Jerry Lawler painting up Kamala's face and belly and creating that character that went on to wrestle against The Undertaker in the WWE. Undertaker even created a special casket. He had to customize a casket for Kamala. So very, very sad news this week. I just wish I had the opportunity to interview Kamala on this podcast or on Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle, but we lost him far, far too early. So our thoughts and condolences go out to Kamala's friends, family, and the fans worldwide. He will be missed. Also, last week, I joined www.stspod.club to talk about a superstar tribute that's coming to Memphis, Tennessee to honor the career and the legacy of superstar Bill Dundee. It's all going down at Growlers in Memphis. I'll tell you more about that in just a bit, but go to www.stspod.club and you can listen to my interview with Brian Trammell. It dropped on Saturday. It's got some really good stuff there. Also, I don't have to tell you about last week on Championship Wrestling. It was star-studded. Let's take a look and take a listen at the action that went down. Last week on Championship Wrestling, the stars of the United Wrestling Network were shining bright with never-before-seen footage from some of our most popular alumni. Featuring Willie Mack versus Scorpio Sky in an epic ladder match for the United TV title. Plus, classic women's tag team action pitting Candice LeRae and Allison Danger versus Buggy and Bailey. And in our main event, it's X-Pac versus Daniel Bryan one-on-one.
Beautiful drop kick, Buggy. Oh, with a sucket of his own.
All that and so much more on the fastest hour in pro wrestling. Watch episode 72 in full on our official YouTube channel at CW30 Wrestling.
The Championship Wrestling Lookout is brought to you by BFree CBD.
Oh man, here's what you need to look out for as far as Championship Wrestling is concerned, and boy is it getting busier than ever. You heard me mention it earlier, the announcement happened on Saturday. We have a superstar tribute with Bill Dundee at Growlers in Memphis on Sunday, September 20th. Now that is an afternoon event, so that way if you have kids that go to school the next day, or if you have work the next day or that night, no problem. Tickets are on sale and available right now at ChampionshipWrestlingMemphis.com. All the times, the VIP specials, the whole 9 yards is right there at ChampionshipWrestlingMemphis.com. And not only am I looking forward to the special Q&A, and I'm hosting that with the superstar to answer your questions, But I'm really looking forward to watching Bill Dundee's unreleased movie, Screecher. That's right, Bill's in a brand new movie. It was supposed to be released prior to the pandemic or during the pandemic. Of course, that was pushed. So right now, you have an opportunity for the first time ever to watch Screecher with Bill Dundee. That's a Superstar tribute at Growlers in Memphis. That's Midtown. Sunday, September 20th, championshipwrestlingmemphis.com. Also, you need to look out for more information on the United Wrestling Network's Primetime Live, premiering on Tuesday, September 15th. You heard David Marquez talking all about it. As more news breaks, we will have it for you right here and on our social channels at CW30 Wrestling. Now, this is big. You need to look out for our next 3 watch parties. There are 3 in a row, all happening at Dave & Buster's in Memphis, starting Sunday, August 23rd. That's this coming Sunday. We're going to watch WWE SummerSlam absolutely free at Dave & Buster's. I will see you there. Bell time is 6 p.m. And then the following Sunday, this one just popped up. I didn't even know they were having this, but Sunday, August 30th, come back to Dave & Buster's and watch WWE Payback with us. Again, that's absolutely free. And you know what? If you're more of a fan of AEW than you are WWE, don't fret. Because on Saturday, September 5th, AEW all-out watch parties taking place at Dave & Buster's in Memphis. That's Saturday. That's a Saturday, September 5th, AEW all-out. And I can't wait. And then, of course, every Thursday at 9 a.m., you can catch me on Sports 56 Mornings talking professional wrestling. You can listen anywhere in the world live or on podcast at sports56whbq.com. And, of course, at noon, it's an all-new Grind City Wrestling. Every Thursday, you can listen at grindcitymedia.com/podcast. Join me again every single Thursday afternoon, grindcitymedia.com/podcast for a brand new Grind City Wrestling. And here's what's coming up on Saturday's Championship Wrestling, presented by Pro Shingle. It's Championship Saturday! Oh yeah!
Saturday at noon, it's an all-new Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle.
Join us for Championship Saturday, where 3 NWA titles will be on the line.
Saturday at noon, right here on CW30 Memphis.
It's time for this week's mailbag. Mailbag.
Time to tackle some of your questions. Like always on 5 Star Friday, I reach out on Instagram on my story at Dustin Starr, and I say, hey, ask me some questions and I'll give you the answers. You guys really showed out for me this week. Lots of questions, so let's go ahead and get right to it. The first one is a question that I've been asked several times. I guess you guys are just trying to see if I change my mind, which could happen. That first question is, what's your favorite food spot in Memphis? And for a long time now, I've always answered Kooky Canuck. That's one of mine and my Maria's favorite spots. We went on some of our very first dates there and have continued to go and support Kooky Canuck. They have great burgers and then the biggest beers in Memphis. But there are also some other spots that we love. I love Dave & Buster's food. I love me a Tops barbecue double cheeseburger, and I'm really looking forward to trying out that full menu out at Growlers in Midtown. So stay tuned on that, but I would definitely have to say those are some of my favorite food spots in Memphis. And if you have any to recommend, hit me up at Dustin Starr. Next question, what do you think of the rumor WWE will run SummerSlam at the Amway Center? Now, since this question has been asked, it's actually confirmed. WWE will hold all their live events moving forward for the remainder of the year at Amway Center in Orlando. That arena seats 20,000 people, and I think it's the next step in having a live audience return to professional wrestling, and I'm here for it. I think there's a way to do it. As you know, probably, I am the PA announcer for the Memphis 901 FC USL soccer team, and at AutoZone Park, it's a 10,000-seat stadium. They're allowed 1,000 people in the stadium for these live events, and it's very socially distant, very safe. Masks are mandatory. So Amway Center seats 20,000 people. Why can't WWE have a couple of thousand people in there safely? So I think they're setting up for that. But WWE will have their live events for the remainder of the year, from what I've read, at Amway Center. So pay attention and be on lookout. I think we're going to see fans returning to pro wrestling very, very soon. The next question, I love this, and I wish I had a good answer. Craziest thing you've done in quarantine? I even asked my Maria, is there something I'm forgetting? My answer, the craziest thing that I've done in quarantine is nothing. And for me to do nothing for that long is absolutely crazy. So hit me up at Dustin Starr. Let me know the craziest thing you have done while in quarantine. I did let my Maria cut my hair, and we all saw how that ended up. Maybe that's the craziest thing. Next question. Favorite Memphis Grizzlies game this year besides home versus the Lakers? I did have this question asked. My favorite home game, of course, was when we beat the Lakers. Now I would have to say my favorite home game was just the other day when I was hosting the Memphis Grizzlies virtual Sweet Box, and lo and behold, the grind father himself, Tony Allen, joined the Sweet Box, and I got to watch the Grizzlies game with not only TA, but Zebo, 50 for the city, baby. So two of my all-time favorite players joined the Sweet Box, the virtual game for the Grizzlies, just the other day, and that was a do-or-die game, so it was awesome. So even though that was a virtual game and we wasn't there live inside FedEx Forum, I would have to say that that was my favorite game. We beat the Milwaukee Bucks, and I believe that was on Thursday. But man, how cool was it watching and interacting and hearing all the feedback and stuff from Zebo and Tony Allen. Next question. How does Brady feel about being a little brother? Well, as long as we don't name him Dustin Jr., I think he's going to be just fine. And then he's also specified that he does not want to be a babysitter. But I think once Little Star arrives, I think his tune is going to change just a little bit. But we're really looking forward to that. Coming soon in November. Next question makes me really sad to even read it. I almost deleted it, but I didn't want to. Will the Grizzlies make the playoffs? And my answer was yes! But as you know, we lost a real heartbreaker on Saturday to the Portland Trailblazers. So no, the Grizzlies will not make the playoffs. And that's all I have to say about that. A couple of more questions here. What's the largest animal you could beat in a cage with no weapons? I'm going to narfle the Garthok. A prize to the first person that sends me a message that knows what Narfle the Garthok is. That's at Dustin Starr. I'll give you a prize. But no, I posted a picture of my little chihuahua. What kind of question is that? The largest animal that I could beat inside a cage without a weapon? Probably a chihuahua. I don't like my chances against anything bigger than that. Oh boy. Last question. And I'm not sure where this came from. Are y'all doing a gender reveal? We already did. We're having a boy. Don't you remember the cannons? We shut off the blue cannons, and of course mine worked, Brady's worked, and my Maria's not so much. But I wanted to answer that question because I wanted to give a shout out to everybody who has sent gifts. We have a dining room area full of Amazon boxes where you guys, some people that we've never even met before, just over social media, friends, family, fans, Grizzlies, wrestling, you name it. You guys have really showed up and showed out, and we really appreciate all those awesome gifts. But that's it for this week's mailbag. Hit me up. If you have a question, you know I have an answer. And if not, just hit me up on Instagram at Dustin Starr. Every 5-Star Friday, I post it. Ask your questions.
Dave & Buster's is the coolest place to eat, drink, play, and watch WWE SummerSlam. Sunday, August 23rd, it's free. Plus, you can win prizes. Dave & Buster's Wolf Chase. Thanks for listening to the Championship Wrestling Podcast presented by BFreeCBD.com.
BFree CBD, pain on, pain gone. BFree CBD, pain on.
Another fun podcast in the books. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Big shout out to the boss man for being my guest, David Marquez. He's going to be back when there's more news to discuss, and I'm sure that's coming soon. I know last week I said that the voice of Championship Wrestling, Todd Kenley, was going to join me here, but with the breaking news, I had to get your questions answered. So next week we're going to have another guest here. But remember, BFree CBD is open in Collierville, Tennessee. That's 777 West Poplar Avenue, their wellness center. Stop by, say hello, tell them Championship Wrestling sent you, tell them Dustin Starr said hello. And if you already take CBD or if you've been thinking about trying it, you certainly need to give BFree CBD a chance. And I hope to see you all on Sunday for WWE SummerSlam Watch Party at Dave & Buster's. And of course, I'm going to see you Saturday on Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingles Championship Saturday. And until then, I am Dustin Starr saying so long, everybody.
Join us for a special tribute to the career and legacy of superstar Bill Dundee, Sunday, September 20th at Growlers. VIP tickets include custom superstar face mask and t-shirt. Along with a special Q&A, you'll be treated to a special screening of Bill's new movie, Screecher. That's Sunday, September 20th at Growlers in Memphis. Limited tickets on sale now at ChampionshipWrestlingMemphis.com.